Imagine winning $16.5 million in a lottery, but you can't claim the prize because you rigged the draw, and you're the security director of that very same lottery. It sounds like a movie plot, but that's exactly what happened in 2010 in the USA. The story of Eddie Tipton is one of the biggest scandals in the history of American lotteries. A story about how one man cheated a multi-billion-dollar system for years, using nothing more than a USB stick and a few lines of code. Today I'll tell you how it was possible that a lottery security director stole over $2.5 million from his own players, and why his own greed ultimately brought him down. December 23, 2010, a small town in Iowa. Someone in a hoodie walks into a store, buys a hot dog and a Hot Lotto ticket. That $2 ticket turns out to be worth $16.5 million. But here's the problem. For almost an entire year, no one comes forward to claim the giant jackpot. Strange, right? Who buys a winning ticket and forgets about it? Only when the deadline for claiming the prize approaches does a mysterious lawyer appear. He says he represents a company from Belize and wants to collect the prize, but refuses to reveal the real winner's identity. But in Iowa, the law is clear. You must provide your personal details to claim a prize. The lawyer doesn't budge, neither do the officials. In the end, the prize goes unclaimed. That was Eddie Tipton's first mistake. Eddie Tipton. Remember the name. By day, he was the director of security at the Multi-State Lottery Association, the organization running lotteries in 37 US states. When the mysterious jackpot went unclaimed, investigators began looking into it. They reviewed surveillance footage from December 2010, and there he was, the man in the hoodie buying the ticket. The same man also bought a hot dog. Police checked phone records near the store. Tipton's phone had connected to towers nearby that day. They checked rental cars. Tipton had rented a car hours before the ticket purchase. The same car caught on camera outside the store. But Eddie denied everything. His brother Tommy defended him with an interesting argument. "My brother doesn't eat hot dogs. The man on the tape bought a hot dog, so it can't be Eddie." But how was it possible for the security director to cheat the very system he was supposed to protect? The answer? A rootkit. Tipton used a USB stick to install a hidden code on the computer controlling the random number generator. That code was devilishly clever. The rootkit only activated on 3 specific days of the year, on 2 particular days of the week, after a certain time of day. At those precise moments, the generator stopped producing random numbers. Instead, it used an algorithm that allowed Tipton to predict the results. And then, the rootkit deleted itself, as if it had never existed. It was the perfect crime. Almost perfect. The number generator was inside a special secure room. Only 2 people had access. The room was under constant camera surveillance, but on the day Tipton installed the rootkit, the cameras were set to record just 1 second per minute. Quite the coincidence, wasn't it? Tipton later claimed he only went into the room to adjust the server clocks. But he had one problem. He loved bragging about his skills. He told colleagues about rootkits, about how to trick computer systems. Those very conversations would later cost him his freedom. Eddie wasn't acting alone. His main accomplice was his brother Tommy, who worked as a justice of the peace in Texas. Tommy had already caught investigators' attention back in 2006, when he claimed a Colorado lottery prize. He said he'd won, but asked a friend to claim it for him because he didn't want his wife to find out. Investigators didn't know at the time that the mastermind behind it all was Tommy's brother. But there was another accomplice, Robert Rhodes, the mysterious lawyer who tried to claim the $16.5 million in 2010 on Eddie's behalf. Rhodes and Eddie had studied together, worked at the same company, and were longtime friends. In 2015, Eddie was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. 2 years later, Rhodes confessed to his role in the fraud and agreed to testify against his old friends. As a result, Eddie Tipton's sentence was extended to 25 years. Eddie Tipton was released on parole in July 2022. Today, he lives in Texas and must repay $1.5 million in restitution. Tommy and Rhodes also face consequences for their involvement. But the real cost of the scandal was far greater than the $2.5 million Tipton stole. After the fraud was exposed, a crisis of confidence erupted in state lotteries. Players began questioning the fairness of the draws. The media amplified the scandal. Some states had to run public campaigns to reassure people that the games were once again fair. New security procedures were introduced. Draws are now recorded with multiple cameras. Access to the draw machines is strictly limited to carefully vetted employees, and additional audits and generator tests are conducted. But is that enough? The story of Eddie Tipton shows that sometimes the greatest threat to a system comes from within. That trust, built over years, can be destroyed in seconds. And that even the most advanced security measures are useless if the very person responsible for them decides to break the rules.